Hi, welcome. Now today I'm going to talk about why you should not blend oil paints and what you should do instead. Now I know this sounds really counterintuitive because it's like, well, that's what oil paints are good for. They're really good at blending. But hear me out. Now in this video I'm going to be painting and demonstrating and showing you exactly why I'm saying this. So I'm not just speaking words to you about this, but actually visually sharing and showing. I think it's really important in painting to do that because painting is visual and we learn visually. Now I got the idea to make this video after working on a couple paintings of my own in my own painting practice, and one of the paintings, it just became a big smudgy mess. And here I have footage of that exact painting that I was working on that just did become a mess. I was really excited about this painting actually and set up this rose in a vase, this really cool blue and white vase. And I really liked how the light was coming in. Here you can see I'm applying large areas of color, so everything is going fine, all right, kind of quote unquote doing things correctly. But I'm really softening edges a lot kind of as I go. Not everywhere, but I'm really kind of working more in that manner of kind of really smudging or blending in. You can tell here there isn't much distinction between the different kind of pink shades or colors of the rose. They're kind of all just sort of smudged together. And sometimes this can be no right way to work. It can be, but when you are constantly doing it, and also I wasn't using thick paint either, and that was to my detriment. It really didn't help me at all. It was kind of being really thinned out, and so it just was very weak. All right, so I'm kind of at a point here now in the painting where I have a lot of the color spots in. Things are going okay, but they're not really going that well, and I could technically, really work into it and get it to come back and actually start working. But it was just the way the paint was. Again, I didn't really use enough paint and I kind of diluted it too much. It was a really weak surface, so that kind of made it more difficult to work into. And I really wanted something that I needed this to be a good premier coup. I didn't want this to be like a multi-day painting. And it even if I were to take this further, it isn't the best kind of start to have. You don't want to just smudge, or I shouldn't say smudge, but you don't want to just overly blend everything. You want all your colors to make a statement on their own. And that's something I'm going to be showing you just in this next painting demonstration of how you should do it instead. So I wiped everything out, and I actually ended up not wanting to reuse that canvas. I'm going to reuse it in the future, but in that moment in time, I just wanted to switch to something else. So I got a new canvas, and I worked on doing the same subject matter. And again, this is why I think this is a good example, because we're seeing the same subject matter, but seeing it treated very differently and approached very differently. And this is a much better way to really set up your painting to succeed and for it to just be able to go well. And if you want to take the painting further, for it to have a strong foundation. So in this painting, in this painting process here with this rose still life, I'm really truly focusing on each spot of color next to the other. I'm not thinking of, okay, does this blend into the other? Does this blah, blah, blah? Because you want each color spot to do that on its own without you blending or doing any smudging or anything. So you want a color to that one color that's next to the other color to make that statement, to either be a soft edge or a hard edge, or whatever kind of color relationship that has, whatever kind of color harmony is being kind of portrayed in your subject. You want your color spots to do that without you having to blend anything. And that's what makes a painting very powerful, when your colors are doing that work for you. So you can see here how I'm really keeping my fingers away, keeping my palette knife away, and just focusing on the color spots themselves. and having that do all the heavy lifting for me. And in a way, this is really fun. It's a really fun way to work because you're really focusing on color itself, and you're not really thinking of anything else but that. And it really makes you much more sensitive to, it helps to train your eye to become more sensitive to color, to kind of the subtle changes and differences between different colors. So I really, really encourage you to work this way and to just really put this into practice, because this is what painting is about. It's about getting these color spots to work really, really well next to one another. If you're, let's say, painting something very, that has a lot of volume to it, let's say like a ball, you want it to really feel round. What's gonna make that feel round is the color spots that you create, one right next to the other, and you want to create that feeling of volume. And that's the power of color, and that's what you can make happen. Not by blending, not by smudging, not by any of those things, but by that. Now here, going back to this rose, you can see just how those colors really are working to create that volume, even, in this rose. I was talking about a ball, but the same is true with any sort of subject matter. And we also feel that here. You can feel just how things are forward, things are further back, and it's because that color is working. And there's certain areas that are actually blending on their own because of the color, because of the value similarities or differences. There's a sharp or soft edges because of that. So when you really pay attention to value and color and what you're placing next to one another, again, I've already said this, but this is so important, so I'm going to be repeating it. That's what will make that happen. So having, for example, in this or the areas that are kind of more to the right side of the flower, you can see just things are very soft, and areas are really close together and kind of blend into one another. And that's because they're very similar in value. And also, in a way, the color changes are very subtle as well. So that creates that really soft transition, and where things really blend one into the other. Now, to really simplify this even more about not blending, but really focusing on each and every spot of color and what color you place next to the other color, I'm going to make these two strips. So the one here, you can see that I'm just kind of putting two colors at the end and then kind of blending them together. And then the one above, I'm actually considering each and every color spot that's in between those to create that transition, instead of just kind of putting two and then smudging them. And you can see just how much more powerful that is when we really consider each and every spot of color. And along with this comes not being lazy about it, and really kind of getting into it and just deciding to focus on color and really considering each and every area of color. And when you do that, you'll find yourself just enjoy the process even more. Now let's take a look at an actual painting to see what this looks like in action and in practice. So here is a portrait by Velázquez. I love looking at the old masters for kind of inspiration regarding this, because they all thought this way and worked with it this way. It's one of the many reasons why they were so good. So here you can see, if we look at the chin area of the portrait, just notice how all of those areas are shapes of color, and shapes that are placed one right next to the other. It's really chiseled. And then if you take a look and go up on the face and go to the side of the face, that kind of cheek area, the same thing. There's all these spots of color that are placed right next to the other. And then if you zoom out, it really all works together. It doesn't feel like, there's this glaring, just kind of really harsh spots of color next to the other. It all really blends beautifully together because of how observed and how well these colors were placed next to one another. So just working, when you work with great subtlety, you're able to create that blending effect without actually smudging the paint. Now, I'm not saying to never blend. There absolutely is a time and place for that, and when it's appropriate and sometimes even necessary. However, it can be very easy to overdo it. And so much so, I definitely feel like I have been overdoing it myself in my own work. And I kind of came to a forefront in that painting that I showed you kind of in the beginning part of this video. I hadn't fully realized that until I did that. I was like, oh, this is kind of one problem I've been having and not realizing. I knew there was something not quite, working as well as I wanted it to, and I realized that's what it was. It was me blending too much, smudging too much, and also the way I was using paint, not using enough paint. That was a big one, and that's important. Use enough paint. Don't be afraid of using lots of paint. But all that to say, I'm not saying never blend. There's definitely a time and place for that, but it's hard to keep yourself from doing that. I totally understand it's hard to keep yourself from blending, and sometimes it just makes it look really cool the way, when you blend, the way things kind of paint goes into one another, but help yourself to really focus on the color and just that. And it will be incredible just what you can do when you do that, when you really focus yourself on just color alone. And I want to leave you with a quote by Charles Hawthorne. He is the master of color spots, and I really recommend this book for anyone who hasn't read it, hasn't seen it. I'll link it below. But I'll leave you with a quote here that will really help to kind of readjust yourself with color and not smudging. The right spots of color will tell you more about the appearance, the likeness of a person than features or good drawing. Make it so that you can recognize the subject from the color alone. For color also is a likeness. So really powerful words. If you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comment section below. I always love hearing from you. I'll see you in the next video.